Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Mackenzie Davis. Animal rights activists rallied at the state capitol today, and the Dane County Sheriff is backing his deputies' response to a weekend protest at Ridglan Farms, a Beagle breeding and testing facility in Blue Mounds. Our Wisconsin State Capitol Bureau Chief Vanessa Kelson has both sides.
The protest moved from Ridglan Farms to here at the Wisconsin State Capitol, where activists chanted "Free the dogs" for hours. Meanwhile, the Dane County Sheriff says while he empathizes with the cause, he stands by his deputies' response to Saturday's protest. Beagles and more than 100 activists gathered outside of Governor Tony Evers' office on Monday.
We just want the dogs out, that's it.
Daniela Tessier came from Maine. She also participated in Saturday's attempt to take 2,000 beagles from Ridglan Farms. She alleges that less than 10 minutes after arriving at the facility, a sheriff's deputy grabbed her from behind, smashing her face into the ground.
I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. I would do this over and over again. Our message is the dogs deserve better. The state needs to step in and do its job.
Authorities used tear gas and rubber bullets during Saturday's protest. Dane County Sheriff Calvin Barrett says his office is still reviewing deputies' responses, but for now, he backs their actions.
We do also have preliminary reports that the individuals that were trying to break in to the facility actually jumped on the backs of our deputies, took their batons, struck them with the batons, and then tried to take their weapons as well.
Barrett says protesters, who describe themselves as peaceful, were carrying tear gas canisters, handcuff keys, bolt cutters, and 9-inch handsaws. Of the estimated 1,000 protesters at Saturday's event, the sheriff says his office arrested 29 people. He describes the activist group as very strategic.
Everybody cares. All of us have animals. We all care about not just the people in our community, but we care about the animals too. But there are ways to go about changing these laws, and it's through the legislation.
But these protesters say they've run out of options.
When you're ignored for 10 years, beagles have been suffering and dying for 10 years, you have to do something.
Ridglan Farms has denied animal abuse allegations, but agreed last fall to give up its state breeding license by July 1st to avoid prosecution for animal mistreatment. Governor Tony Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul did not respond to our request for comment to these protests. From the Wisconsin State Capitol, Vanessa Kelson.